This is the time of year when we go to social functions where you're supposed to bring food. My wife Lauren always makes these two things because everyone at the party wants them. So, unless you want to make fun of literally everyone at the party, then keep your yap shut about them 7-layer bars and those bacon-wrapped little smokies.
These are a hit. At my book club, people come in, go straight to the buffet, get their bacon-wrapped little smokies before they do anything else because they're afraid they're going to be all gone before they can get some. So, go me. All right. So, my tip is to cut the bacon package into thirds because it's easier than trying to take the bacon out and cut it.
Use thin bacon, otherwise it won't cook fast enough. It'll be blubbery.
You also will not use all this bacon, but the leftover bacon chunks make for delicious pasta.
Time now for the little cocktail hot dogs, the smokies.
You don't want to use the ones in the can.
Why not?
Those are disgusting. So the thing about the little smokies is that they're wet. And it's easier to wrap them when they're dry. So I get them out onto a towel.
Indeed, if they're wet, the bacon has trouble sticking to them and they come unrolled. Time to roll these. You just take a third of a bacon strip, roll up that wiener tight, and position it seam side down in the baking dish.
So no toothpicks?
No, because if you use the toothpicks now, they will burn in the oven.
The only real trick is handling the bacon gently so that the fat doesn't separate from the lean. But hey, even I can do it, right? Right?
No.
Just please nobody help me. No.
What? What's wrong with it?
It fell apart in the pan. Now you're making me not be able to do it. You're very pretty.
Yeah.
You don't also need to be able to wrap the smokies.
Yeah. Anyway, time to sprinkle brown sugar over these. You can see she's being careful not to drop too much excess onto the bottom of the tray. That would be inclined to burn. Last ingredient?
You're going to want some kind of barbecue seasoning
to balance all the sugar and the richness. Without spice, it's a porky dessert. Anyway, in it goes at 400 Fahrenheit, 200 C.
And these probably will cook for like 50 minutes total. After like 30 minutes, we're going to look at them.
30 minutes later.
I'm looking at the fatty part of the bacon to see if it's getting at all crispy. Might turn the heat up some.
10 minutes later.
Ooh. So when they look like that, frying in their bacon grease, then this is the pan I'm gonna take them to the party in. So I'm gonna switch them into here. They might sort of fall apart. When you take them out, that's fine, because when we serve them, we're going to put a toothpick through.
The disposable aluminum tray is so she doesn't have to worry about retrieving a nice platter from a party, but also she thinks that she gets slightly crispier bottoms on these if they go back in the oven again in the clean, dry, fresh pan. That'll get those piggies warm and toasty.
And when you need to wrap up your little piggies... Do you want to throw that again? Sure. When you want to wrap up your little piggies... Bombas.
That's right, Bombas is the sponsor of this video because sock season is upon us. Bombas is the ultimate cozy sock shop, offering the plushiest, softest, most absurdly comfortable essentials for the season. Lauren ordered these hot little vintage cashmere merino rib socks, an elegant ribbed sweater for your feet. I'm always looking out for new ankle socks to wear to the gym. These are so soft and they don't shift around on my foot. And with Bombas, every pair purchased is a pair donated. Bombas makes the top 3 most requested clothing items in homeless shelters: socks, underwear, and t-shirts. And they donate an item for every purchase you make. More than 150 million essential clothing items have been donated. New customers get 20% off their first purchase. Just hit my QR code or go to bombas.com/Adam Ragusia. Use my code ADAM20 at checkout for 20% off. Thank you, Bombas. Anyway, the 10-minute reheat/final crisping is over.
I'm gonna stick toothpicks in them so they're ready to be eaten.
The toothpick not only keeps your fingers clean when you're snacking, but it holds the bacon layers together. Who knew we had such technology?
Cheers.
Cheers. Ooh, hot smoky. Hot smokers.
Extremely intense little umami bombs those are. I can really only eat like one of them. Same deal with Lauren's 7-layer bars.
These were like a Christmas cookie when I was younger. My mom always made them, and I love them because they have butterscotch chips, and they're one of the few things that use butterscotch chips. And I started making them to take to book club, and now I get requests for them to come to book club every month. And I make them directly in the aluminum pan that I take them to the party in. And this way I don't have to bring a pan home or wait for the pan or whatever.
That's a whole stick of butter, 113 grams, salted. Throw in a pinch of salt if not salted. And you don't have to melt the butter the way that she's doing it right now, but you do have to heat the oven anyway, and you're going to need some kind of baking tray, so done.
Okay. Now, I have washed my hands. I washed my hands. Because we are going to do this with our hands. All right, I have prepackaged graham cracker crumbs and a half-cup scoop. We're going to start with a cup.
Yeah, it's however much cracker crumbs get you that wet sand texture where it's just wet enough that it's moldable. Too much butter proportionally and the bars will be gooey. Too little and they'll be brittle. They'll also be brittle if you don't pack that solid.
Level it out and press it down really good.
The butter and the crackers count as 2 separate layers for some reason. Here's the remaining 5.
You got your kit bag there.
Yes, because you won't use a whole package of any of this stuff, so I always have like this all together.
All of this is eyeballed. A layer of semi-sweet chocolate chips.
And if you like lots of one thing, you can put lots of that in. My only tip is to make sure you purposefully get them into the edges. Otherwise, you will wind up with spots with nothing. All right, my favorite butterscotch chips. Yum. And then I like to look and see if there's any place where I'm like, oh, there's going to be a bite that doesn't have butterscotch in it.
Time for some chopped pecans, followed by the sweetened desiccated coconut.
You could do unsweetened coconut if you don't like joy.
The 7th, and therefore implicitly divine layer, is sweetened condensed milk.
And if you live in a cold place and it's cold, you might want to like give it a little stir to loosen it up so that it pours well.
Yeah, you need it to flow out of the can so that you can deposit a thin layer everywhere. The stickiness of this stuff is what holds the whole bar together, so anywhere you don't have milk is going to fall apart. But you don't want too much milk or it's going to be too gooey and too sweet. You can't smooth it out with a knife or anything. The coconut would get all stuck up in there, so you just have to be very careful and slowly pour out however much you need for a thin layer everywhere. This was like half the can. And
then I like to put a little bit more coconut, just a smidge more coconut on top, because that coconut will get nice and brown. Now we're gonna put it in here. It's about 20 minutes. Keep your eye on it. You want it to get like caramelly brown, golden brown on top.
That color looks good, but when she shakes the pan, it's too liquid in the center. Give it a few more minutes and the center should just jiggle a tiny bit, if at all. Take them out and they need to cool for a couple of hours before you can slice them. Otherwise, they'll just kind of melt. But you can cut them up when you've gotten to the destination for your party, and that buys you the entire trip over for cooling time.
I like them when they get like chewier.
Well, tomorrow they'll be, you can totally make these ahead because they'll be even better tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
My favorite.
And you're my favorite too, champ, even if I really don't like going to Christmas parties.